darkness surrounds us. It's time to light up the night. It's time for Zero Dark 30 with John.
Yay! Cut out the jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all. Then shut your dang pie hole.
Well, everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Woohoo! It is Zero Dark 30. I busted out of the bunker, and it is early Monday morning. I'm just freaking thrilled and ecstatic to be back. No, I'm not. But here we are. We don't have a choice, folks. This isn't, it's not like we have a choice in what's going on in the world. Now, you do have a choice what to do about it. You can stick your head in the sand or in your posterior. You can pretend that the world is a jolly, chipper place and there's no problems. Or you can face the facts, the unpleasant, nasty facts about who is where and why and what they're doing and what you should be doing about it. Or somewhere in between. It's all up to you. I can't make you do nothing. Not a thing. No. So what are we going to discuss? What shall we discuss? How about this? The federal government has now decided to let us know, to bring us up to speed on the southern border. They've had it open since Joe Biden took office. They've been tearing down the fence, ignoring the fence, opening holes in the fence, letting people in by the hundreds of thousands. In fact, last month, September of 2023, the most people ever found their way across the U.S. southern border. Ever. According to the statistical release by people in charge of such things. Now, and then the feds say, oh, we got a warning for you now. It's like, oh, really? Now we get a warning, huh? After all the damage you've done by letting people in intentionally, protecting these fucking people, rewarding these people, guess what? Yeah, the feds have now said, oh, by the way, we think that there is a lot of Hamas. The Palestinians, they have their own separate and distinct terror group besides Hamas, and Hezbollah. These groups are at the southern border. I tell you what, I've heard the term, the expression, better late than never. Sorry. Number one, we already knew this was going on. Number two, it is not better in any way, form, or fashion. Better late than never. They're going to tell us now, now that they're in the country. It's not that they're at the border. This is where the lying really gets nasty with these kind of people, folks. They're already here. Are there more at the border? Of course there are. It is Zero Dark 30, folks, bathed in red taillights. Hezbollah, great. Those are Iranian terrorists. Hamas, those are. What are they doing at our border? What is Hamas? What are the Palestinians doing at our border? What are they doing in our country? This is our country. This is not Palestine. No, and it's nowhere near. What right, what claim do they have on our country? What need is there to be here? Aren't they supposed to want their own country back? Aren't they supposed to hate just the Israelis? Right. Think about it. If they hate the Israelis, they need to eradicate them. Why are they here? Oh, I know. I just figured it out. Because Washington, D.C. supports Israel with money and weapons, or helps them get their own weapons in order. The Washington, D.C. government Washington, D.C. government is therefore evil, and it also must be removed, just like Israel. This is a can of worms. Can of worms. Are you ready for this one? Oh, okay, so I get it. Because Washington, D.C. is full of evil, rotten bastards that helped Israel take over, take control, become dominant, and start killing the Palestinians, it is the United States government's fault. Okay, I don't think anyone in America right now would be upset if every politician in Washington, D.C., I'm not going to say anything bad, every politician in Washington, D.C. ran for their lives, and left Washington, D.C. vacant. See how nice I am when I say things? No one would be upset about that, because we would just have to put good people who had nothing to do with Israel and Palestine into positions of authority and take control of this government as a republic again. Now, that said, would the Palestinians be happy? They destroyed the government of Washington, D.C. by causing them to run away. Notice I didn't have them kill everyone, and I wasn't happy about that. But let's just say, for argument's sake, for purposes of theory and hypothecation, so there's now a new government in place. Would the Palestinians all get on trains and boats and planes and submarines and magic carpets and fly back home to Hezbollah headquarters and Hamas headquarters and report that mission accomplished, the great Satan's dead? No, folks, because they're not looking at just Washington, D.C. Right? If they looked at just the government of Israel as being bad, why are they killing women and old men and cutting children to pieces, literally? Because that's what terrorists do. They murder and kill everyone. That's what they want. They want to kill. They want vengeance. They want destruction. They're the worst filth. Well, they're amongst the worst filth. They're over that worst filth line, because there's a lot of worst filth out there. Like people who are gender transitioning children by destroying and mutilating them, destroying their minds with rotten ideas. But I digress. Folks, Hamas, Hezbollah, other terror groups, they hate everybody. They will not stop with just the governments. They come after the people. So they're here. They want to destroy the government, but they're going to come after the people because they believe we support them in D.C., and it's our fault for giving them money. And we're part of the problem, so every one of us must be killed. So I can ask some simple questions. How do we find them and eradicate them? How do we remove them, terrorism, from the face of the earth? This gets ugly. How do you identify a Palestinian or a Hamasian or a Hezbollah and distinguish them from other people from the Middle East? Well, their accent, does that make them terrorists? Is that too loose of a connection? How about their knowledge of our culture? How about their knowledge of our history, our laws? Is that how we can identify them? So that we can pull them aside and say, you must be a terrorist? Isn't that profiling? Isn't profiling wrong? How do you separate them from us? Because they have to be eliminated. They are murdering everyone they can as soon as they can, when they can. That's what terrorists do. There's no reasoning with them. You can't make them smarter. You tell them they have to eat bacon. Right? That's how you know the difference. No self-respecting radical jihadi would eat bacon. They think that condemns them to hell forever. Well, tell you what, there's lots of faking in America. That's for sure. And I think that, that may be one of our secret weapons. Just keep that in mind. Yes, there's a lot of satire and humor, right? Ooh, but it's so upsetting to these people. It's so upsetting to leftists to hear. But that's, folks, one of the fights we're going to have. We discussed it last night. The government, why should they fight us when they can get us to fight each other? They can get us trying to find within our own midst people who want to kill us all. Well, I mean, sure, when they come out and start trying to kill us, of course, that's when you know that you go after the terrorists. But when you have a den of snakes and only one or two snakes come out at a time to commit acts of terror, there's still a den of other snakes out there that need to be eradicated. In other words, we will have to hunt and find the jihadis, the bad people. They're going to hide amongst other people. They're going to pretend, just like communists, that they're normal until it's time for them to come out with their hatred and their venom. That's how this works. Just like now, we look around and go, why? Why are these lawyers, doctors? Why are these politicians? Why are these students? Why is there so much hatred for Israel everywhere, in the media, in politics? Where has it come from that these people, right? It's incredible. I've read the protocols of the elders of Zion. I know the stories about the Jews over centuries, right? I know that. I know the history of all peoples over over centuries, and the bad things they've done, and the good things they've done, and the bad things they've done, and why all peoples are imperfect. But for the desire to kill all the Israelis is just beyond me. Especially with young people. Who the hell do they think they are, judging an entire section of the planet? It's incredible. And then to support the people that want to kill them, when clearly there's some problems there. Wow. First thing to do, get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. And then get ready. Whether the government comes after us, well, trust me, folks, they're going to try. They're going to send their emissaries, the terrorists that they've allowed to come over intentionally. Oh, thanks, Biden. Thanks, Democrats. Glad you're on our side. Glad you're here to help. And they're going to, tell our own local wackos like BLM and Antifa, who are good friends of the terrorists, and they totally support them. So, yeah, as if the jihadis are going to accept them. Antifa, a bunch of privileged white punks who hate their parents. Or BLM, a bunch of trans blacks. That's who they say they are, folks. A bunch of gender-confused militant scumbags who have racism as the base of their hatred. And all this happened under our very noses while we were busy paying taxes, working hard, and raising our families. That world, that Norman Rockwell world, gone. Open your eyes. Look around. This is the world we have. This is the one. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours.